Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today I just want to sit down and talk to you about breathwork and explain what it is, the benefits of it, how it can affect your mental and physical health, and how to breathe properly. Because I think a lot of us don't breathe properly. As funny as that sounds, a lot of us are not doing it the correct way. So let's start out by talking about what breathwork is. Breathwork is the conscious controlling of our breath for a desired outcome. So breathwork can be used to gain mental clarity, internal clarity, to quiet out the outside world so you can hear your soul, your inside voice, and really tune into the needs of your body and align with your highest good, what you truly need. And breathwork is amazing for that because it just clears the mind, calms it down, really slows down all of those racing thoughts. And that's really what I enjoy about breathwork the most. And it's amazing to tie into meditation because of that reason, because it clears the mental chatter so you can hear and experience the quietness of meditation. Okay, so let's talk about the benefits of breathwork. I've got some workbook pages that I will have linked, and so go ahead and download those, and so you can have those for reference. If you want to grab those and go through this lesson with me, that would be amazing. So the benefits of breathwork, these are just a couple. Increased lung capacity. So our lungs are very stretchy and fluid, and they can adapt just like any muscle in our body, really. The more we use them, the bigger and more resilient and stretchy they become, okay? So if we are inactive, our lungs will shrink and they will become less efficient, less effective, and that really can affect our overall health. Yeah, a stronger respiratory system, allowing for more oxygen to enter the body and increasing our CO2 tolerance. If you're curious about CO2 tolerance, please go and see my other video where I explain what it is, how it affects our health, and 3 tests that you can do to test your levels. Okay, so another benefit of breathwork is it creates a closer connection with yourself. Okay, so breathwork can really connect the mind to the body. A lot of times we get stuck in our head and it almost feels like our minds aren't even connected to our bodies, right? There's a disconnect there between, what we know we should do, what we think, but not what we feel we should do, right? The feeling is within the body, the thinking is in the mind, and there can be a complete disconnect. So breathwork really clears that connection between the two. So just creates a deeper connection with yourself. It also helps facilitate deeper meditation, okay? So a number 3 is better overall health, physically and mentally. Breathwork has been shown to help with ADHD, autism, depression, anxiety, all sorts of mental disorders, but also how it affects our nervous system, our stress. Breathwork can also affect your heart health. There is a direct connection between our respiratory system and our heart. They really do go hand in hand. Okay, so the more oxygen we can bring into the body, the stronger our heart will be. Okay. Number 4, pain reduction and increased pain tolerance. Releases endorphins and just reduces the sensitivity to the pain. Okay, and number 5 is more energy overall with increased physical performance. Once again, having that increased CO2 tolerance or carbon dioxide tolerance really improves our athletic capabilities. Refer back to my other video for more on that. Okay, so those are the benefits of breath work. So one of the main systems within the body that breath work affects, or breathing in general affects, is the nervous system, okay? The nervous system is really what keeps us in a calm state or puts us into a stressful state. There's two functions of the nervous system within the body. We have the rest and digest and the fight, flight, or freeze response. I'm sure you've heard about this, okay? So we have the parasympathetic nervous system and we have the sympathetic nervous system, okay? So we have the rest and digest, fight, flight, or freeze. When we are in the parasympathetic or rest and digest state, our bodies release dopamine and serotonin. This tells our body that we are in a safe space. With that, our bodies naturally breathe slower, right? If you think about a time whenever you're under stress, you typically start breathing faster, your heart starts racing, you breathe really shallow. That's the opposite of the parasympathetic nervous system. When we are in this state, it allows us to feel safe. And within that safe space, we learn easier, we adapt easier, we sleep better. It aids in motivation and desire. Okay, these hormones that get released are the happy hormones, and a lot of them are found in the gut. Okay, so once again, if you're under stress, your stomach starts hurting, and that's the fight or flight response. Okay, so let's move into that. So the sympathetic nervous system is the fight, flight, or freeze. When we are in that state, our body releases cortisol and adrenaline. Those are what's responsible for the racing heart, the tunnel vision, and those sorts of things. You get that energy rush, and you begin to mouth breathe. You breathe really shallow in your chest and through your mouth. So this also turns off functions within the body, especially digestion. So that is why you get that stomach ache when you are under stress, because your body literally turns it off, because it's in that fight or flight, it's ready to fight, it's not worried about digesting, okay? That happens when we are in the calm state. We can effectively reduce stress with our breathing, okay? Stress affects our breath, and breath affects our stress. By slowing down our breath, we will bring our nervous system into that calm state. So we can spend years within the sympathetic or fight or flight response without even knowing it. And our bodies are extremely adaptable, and we can be in that chronic state of stress for many, many years. And we all have heard and felt how stress has a negative effect on our body. If we are in the fight or flight response for too long, we will have adrenal burnout. It causes heart disease and chronic fatigue. Okay, so by breathing through the nose and slowing down the exhale, we can begin to move into the parasympathetic or rest and digest state. By doing this, we can train our nervous systems to become more resilient to stress. And what I mean by that is whenever a stressor comes at us, we can handle it without having a complete mental or physical breakdown. I know we've all experienced that, right? Where even something quite small could set us off. And that means that your nervous system was not in a calm place to begin with. Okay, so you were already in a heightened state, and then this other little thing came, and it just tipped you over the edge. By controlling our breath, we control our nervous system. And our goal is to be in the rest and digest state as much as possible. Okay, that is the healthy place to be. And whenever we are in that state, we can handle stress when it comes with more ease and grace. So let's talk about nasal breathing versus mouth breathing. So this is how to breathe properly. Okay, like I mentioned, a lot of people breathe incorrectly, which sounds completely crazy because breathing is completely natural to us. How could we possibly be doing it wrong, right? Well, as we've talked about here, when we are under stress, and we live in such a stressful society nowadays, and most of us are in this heightened state, and so that's going to cause us to breathe improperly. Let's talk about nasal breathing. When we breathe through our nose, our body releases nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is a vasodilator. So that opens up our blood vessels and our arteries to allow for more oxygen and more blood flow to occur. When there's more oxygen and more blood flow, that is an overall healthier system. Nasal breathing activates the rest or digest state. It warms and humidifies the air for greater oxygen absorption. It reduces stress, creating safety in the body, and it allows for full breaths to occur. So when we breathe through our nose, we automatically start breathing into our belly. Okay, like I mentioned, the stressful state, we're breathing very shallowy into our, very shallow into our chest. But when we breathe through our nose, we engage our diaphragm and our belly. So anytime we can engage our diaphragm, that puts us into the rest and digest state, okay? Breathing through the nose filters the air of pollutants, dust, and bacteria and keeps it from entering the lungs. So this helps with allergies, asthma, bronchitis, all of those things, because those contaminants are not entering into the lungs. It reduces the risk of cardiac disease and diabetes. It helps improve sleep quality and reduce sleep apnea. This is huge, guys. Okay, so let's compare this to mouth breathing. When we breathe through our mouth, we get dark circles under our eyes. It creates a narrow jaw with crooked teeth. And this is because the tongue is not resting on the roof of the mouth as it should be. When we nasal breathe, the tongue naturally comes up to the roof of the mouth, and that's where it should rest. Okay, so think about that for a second. If you were just to sit here and breathe, what position is your tongue in? Is it down on the bottom of your mouth or up on the roof? It should be up on the roof of your mouth, okay? That's its natural position. So when your tongue is on the roof of the mouth, it can push those teeth wider and give more space so that the teeth aren't crowded and become crooked, okay? Isn't that interesting? I love that. Okay, so mouth breathing causes shallow, rapid breathing. It doesn't allow for full oxygenation of the cells. So you can't absorb all of the air that you breathe in through your mouth because it is not warmed or humidified, okay? So in order for our cells to absorb oxygen, the oxygen needs to be humid and warm, and it gets that through the nose. So interesting. Okay, so mouth breathing activates the fight or flight, and it doesn't allow for filtration to occur, leading to allergies, dust, and bacteria to enter the lungs. It causes bad breath and tooth decay. So it essentially causes oxidation within the mouth and can rot your teeth. All right. I think this is so interesting, guys. If you have this page printed out, you can see I have a photo of the nasal cavity. So you can see, I hope you can see that. The nasal cavity is much, much larger than the throat. So with that, you are bringing in way more oxygen than you can just through your windpipe, through your throat. Okay, so as the air comes into the nose, the brain tells the nose to warm the air to exactly 98.6 degrees. Isn't that cool? So I live in a very cold climate. So when I walk outside and in the negative weather, my body is going to warm that air to the correct temperature to match my body so that my cells can absorb it. If I breathe straight through my mouth, that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna start coughing. It's not gonna be pretty, okay? So a lot of people breathe through their mouth because their sinuses are messed up. They're clogged up. They've got allergies. They might have deviated septums. They I had this, I was a chronic mouth breather for years, and I never knew that I was and that it was incorrect. So my nasal passages were very narrow because I rarely used them, right? So that makes sense. So for me, it took time with breath work, breath holding, those sorts of things to stretch out the nasal cavities, okay? Or the nostrils. So let's talk about ways we can open up the sinuses so we can effectively breathe through our nose, okay? Because it's so important. So it should be a big goal of all of ours to keep the sinuses as clear and open as possible. Using the neti pot. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I swear by it. I love it. I use it all the time, especially when I'm sick. And cleaning the nasal passages can help with ear infections, sinus infections, all of that stuff. So another way is to hold your breath and plug your nose, using the pressure to open up your sinus cavity. This works really good if you've got a plugged nose and it clears it right up, okay? So you can sniff essential oils like peppermint, eucalyptus. What's another one? Tea tree is good. Lemon lime, those sorts of things. Just sniffing it will help open the airways. And that's a really good thing to add to your breathwork practice. If you do struggle with sinus congestion, just do that before or throughout your practice, okay? And tape your mouth shut, okay? This one sounds a little scary, and this is to do at night. So think about how you breathe while you sleep. Do you sleep with your mouth open? Do you snore? Do you wake up with a dry mouth? That usually means that you're breathing through your mouth at night. And what that does is it really affects your quality of sleep. It can cause sleep apnea, like we mentioned. So by taping your mouth shut, it will force you to breathe through your nose. Now, that can be a little bit scary, and I have trained myself. I used to mouth breathe at night, and I have trained myself to breathe through my nose at night. I've done that through practice, you know, working on having a calm nervous system, because I can tell whenever I'm stressed, I start breathing through my mouth at night. I wake up, my throat hurts, my mouth is dry, and I instantly know that I'm under stress and I need to take care of that, right? And I take care of that through breathwork and meditation. It really does keep me in a calm state. So if I don't keep up on this, I will start mouth breathing and running through that cycle again. So taping your mouth shut. Eliminate allergens in the environment, mold, dust, and artificial fragrances. Use herbs such as osha, mullein, peppermint, eucalyptus, and horehound, and use single nostril breathing. Single nostril breathing is amazing if you do have a deviated septum, so you can focus air in just through a single nostril and really work on that if that's an issue for you. So I hope you can see how important it is to breathe through your nose. So now I want to go through what does a proper breath look like and how do you breathe properly, okay? So starting with the nose, breathing through the nose, clearing those passages if you need to. A full breath should originate in the belly, should come up into the rib cage and into the chest, and then back down, okay? It's like a wave. Whenever I say belly breathing, you are not just breathing in your belly. That could hurt, okay? So it starts in the belly, and it draws all the way up. So you want to start as low as you can and go as high as you can. Also, a full breath, when we breathe, our rib cage expands in all directions. Okay, so we're not just breathing forward, we're breathing out to the side and actually into the back. So if you have a really tight back and tight back muscles, you might want to stretch those out and work on that, because that could help expand the rib cage and give more room for the lungs. Breathing 360 degrees all the way around, okay? So Also, breathing should be as slow and controlled as possible. And I want to encourage you to tune into your breath throughout the day and see what it's doing. What is it like? Is it fast and shallow? Are you holding your breath unintentionally? Maybe you are breathing nice and slow and you're in a very relaxed state, and that's amazing. But being mindful throughout the day and checking in and seeing how the breath is and noticing how it changes throughout the day depending on what you run into. So let's see here. I want to show you, let's go ahead and do an equal ratio breath. So this is a type of breath work, one of my favorites, and this one is really, really good for calming down the nervous system. Okay, if you are in a stressful situation, this is a great one to help calm you down. So once again, we're breathing through our nose. We're starting in our belly, rib cage, chest, and this one is equal ratio because all of the breaths are equal in lengths. It's also called box breath because you could see that it creates a box. So we inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. Okay, so let's do a couple of these breaths together. So sitting up nice and tall, drop the shoulders down, sealing the lips shut, breathing in through the nose, belly, rib cage, chest, hold, and exhale through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4, inhale, belly, rib cage, chest, and hold. And exhale through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Last one, inhale, belly, rib cage, chest, hold. And exhale with control. Push all the air out and hold. And relax, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I will definitely respond to those. And be on the lookout for more breathwork videos. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.